Welcome everyone to this exciting game from the Join Dota League between Titan and Scythe, two monster teams, which should be a pretty interesting matchup. Pander here, and this is going to be a Lycan game for Titan, and Lycan should be pretty well off against the two that have already been picked, as he does fairly well against Shadow Demon, and does a decent job against Tidehunter, as he likes to pick up the BKB. Enchantress and Razor also picked up by Titan, giving him a very good early start. And Razor should have the ability to do well in lanes. I don't think they can put anything against him that's really going to cause him to lose. Scythe have shown out their supports and likely offlaner at this point, as they want to hide their carries. As they have the Tidehunter, they've got a Shadow Demon, and they've got a Wisp. So this should be an incredibly powerful team fight coming out for Scythe. But let's see who they decide to combo with. Faceless Void would be an option that's been picking up a lot of steam lately, just due to the fact his team fight's pretty insane, though he doesn't do the best up against Razor. And I really think they need to pick up their carry at this point. Save the mid lane for last. You know the Razor or Lycan's going to go mid depending upon what you pick, so it's not like they get a free choice where they know the Razor's mid no matter what. It's going to be the Razor or Lycan, because Lycan's been doing fairly well in the mid lane as of late. He just kind of sustains himself with an early bottle. He can roam around effectively, and he gets a lot of farm with the wolves. Disruptor's going to be the choice for Titan, giving them an amazing set of team fight and great synergy overall, as Disruptor basically keeps everyone close so that Razor can hit him with both the static link and his various shocks, which means Razor's going to be a even better pickup. Phantom Lancer, or Phantom Assassin, excuse me, is the pickup to go with the IO. Not a pick we've seen a whole lot of, just due to the fact she's really hit or miss, which is kind of her nature, but still, she's been doing fairly well when I've seen her picked up a time or two. She does good harassment, she farms fairly well, and she can definitely carry a game with a good crit. Problem is, she is melee up against Razor and Disruptor, so she's going to have a fairly hard time, and she can't just jump away with her Blink Strike, due to the fact Disruptor can just pull her back in pretty effectively. So this is going to be an interesting game for the Phantom Assassin overall. Not sure how well it's going to do, though they do have some pretty decent setup for her. She's going to have to get off to a great start, and I think Scythe need a semi-carry here to go into the mid lane if they really want to have a chance at this game, as Phantom Assassin does do well on her own, but she shines best when she has someone else to kind of get them a little bit low, and then she can jump in, burst them off, and just pick up kills that way. Something like a Templar Assassin would be amazing. I'm not sure how much Scythe and their stand-ins run her, but Templar Assassin would be a great choice here. Pairs up well with the Wisp, gives them a long-range slow that works well with Phantom Assassin's slow, and does fairly well against pretty much everyone. I think that'll honestly be the best choice here, but we're going to see who Titan ban out, as they've got one ban, and it's going to be Puck, not wanting to see even more control for the Phantom Assassin. Not a bad decision, as Puck does a good job of semi-carrying. He does decent damage. His right clicks are pretty strong. He can pick up some damaging items if needed, or he can go into the crowd control route. So it's a good ban. There's no real reason for Titan to worry about that control in this game. They already have the, to go up against the Tidehunter, and it's going to be a Centaur as the last ban out for Titan, or last ban out for Scythe. As Scythe really want to make sure that they don't get controlled, as Titan doesn't have a great initiator at this point. Disruptor's decent at it, but he's not great. He's much more of a pick-off kind of hero. Same thing with Enchantress. She can't really set up anything outside of running in with her creeps during the lane, and she does good damage herself, but they still lack that initiator on the side of Titan. I think Puck would have done well for themselves, and I really think they're going to have to pick up an initiator for likely the off lane at this point. They could always run aggressive, and it is Timbersaw, not the initiator I was thinking of, but he can initiate decently well. Jump in, throw the chakram out, slow everyone down. It's not terrible initiation. You can also pick up a Hex, as he generally likes all that extra mana. So that's the big worry for Titan, is they don't have a good way to really initiate these engagements. Outside of that, I think they have a very solid lineup. And there's Scythe, getting that semi-carry like I talked about. getting even more initiation as well. Scythe definitely had the better lineup on paper, but this is going to be an execution war, and Titan have been executing pretty well as of late. While Scythe have been very hit or miss, based off team lineups, I give it to Scythe, but overall it's going to be a very 50-50 game. Just due to the fact that Titan's lineup is great throughout the entire mid-game. Their lineup is so mid-game centric, it's crazy. Scythe have the ability to take it late with the Phantom Assassin, and especially with Wisp on their team. The problem comes, unless Kunkka gets off to a decent start, they could easily get snowballed upon. They don't have any way to really counter push or stop the Lycan throughout the early game. X is decent, Boat and Torrent are decent as well, but it's not something that really just shuts down the Lycan. Alright, we'll see how Scythe decide to lane this, as I expect them to keep Miracle pretty safe in that bottom lane. And we'll go through their teams really quick. Miracle looks to be running towards the mid lane, likely going to be towards the bottom lane. Chivix taking up the Kunkka. Mr. Chu on the Shadow Demon. Face on the Io. And Dafa taking up the Tidehunter. And they're still keeping the Phantom Assassin mid. I'm really worried about this, as all of Titan decide to group up. OHY on the Timbersaw. KYXY taking up the Razor. Net on the Disruptor. X taking up Enchantress. And NWP on the Lycan. They're going to find out the Shadow Demon, but I don't think there's any real concern for him. Shadow Demon fairly quick at level 1. Not super quick, but quick enough that there's no real way to catch him at this point. And Disruptor waiting around. I like this decision. It's a real nice stealth play, but Kunkka does spot it out. They could have gone on him if he decided to level 1 Glimpse. The 600 range is decent enough they could have pulled him back. But instead they decided to play it safe. They don't know what's around the corner. And yeah, he's taunting him on. I don't blame him. He's just trying to have some fun in this early game, as neither team got off a whole lot. Decent ward from Titan just to see the rotations around. Same thing up top. Nice ward to see rotations, but nothing too big. Scythe got a decent ward up top just to see the lanes, and they're going to see Timbersaw is in the safe lane, as there's going to be an aggressive duel, probably tri-lane, as soon as Enchantress picks up that first creep. As I really think they're going to try and keep this jungle fairly warded up on the side of Scythe. Just keep their own jungle kind of warded, at least the camps closest to the lane. Stack up the mid lane so Zankin can actually farm it, and then they'll be just fine. This lane does go fairly Titan favored early on, as Kunkka just doesn't do a whole lot for the first few levels, but once he gets the Tidebringer, he's going to be just fine of harassing down the Razor. Razor should be able to also steal a fair amount of damage in any of these engagements. You throw in the static link, you get a good glimpse or kinetic field, and it's an easy way to just drain out 100+ damage after a level or two. Enchantress has picked up her creep and is coming in through smoke. She has a Centaur, so she's going to be in decent shape. Wisp is here getting a nice pull off, and he'll be the first target. Though Disruptor is there with him, so it's going to be a very hard gank. Enchantress has lost the Centaur now. Or no, Centaur was just running around looking for Shadow Demon, but does not find him. Does not spot out the Wisp either. They know the Wisp is somewhere, but no way to engage in this situation, as you really can't run into that tower like that. Especially with the Shadow Demon disruption. That's a few seconds of no fun. And it's going to be Enchantress still coming in. She sells Centaur for a few seconds. Might as well throw out a stomp, just because it's going down and there's no way to really stop it. And overall, lane's pretty even. Lycan in the mid lane up against the Phantom Assassins a far more. Neither side can really kill the other. Lycan does a bit better than Phantom Assassin overall, just due to the fact he has Howl and the Wolves, but not really any kill potential unless there's just a terrible misplay or Phantom Assassin gets super lucky. Up top, Tidehunter versus Timbersaw is fairly Timbersaw favored. Not hugely, but enough, as he can just walk in there, whirling death in a time or two, and Tidehunter just takes a ton of damage from it. Bottom lane, it's going to be Razor taking a lot of damage. Looks like it was a Disrupt into Torrent, which is an amazing combo, as we saw the end of it. And that's just a great combination that they're going to be able to throw out all game long. And so far, this Enchantress pick for Titan just has not worked out. You really want to see her get a gank or get a kill by this point in the game. Centaur going to come in. Does have a line on Kunkka. Gvic's going to be in a bit of trouble, but I don't think he's going to get anything really off of it as the Wisp comes in. Probably could have stomped for some harassment as the stomp does a little bit of damage. And there he goes, running around. Nice stomp on 2, but no real harm done. As Enchantress had to go to the other side of the world. Here comes the Torrent, and it's a little off, which means Razor lives. And the kinetic field doing a nice job of zoning everyone out. So far, this definitely favors Scythe, as Razor's not getting as much as I thought he would. He's not taking control of this lane just yet. Kunkka's farming decently well. Wisp got a bunch in the jungle early on. And they're trading farm in the mid lane. Top lane's a small win, if you can call it that, for the Tidehunter, or for Titan. As Timbersaw is up a little bit in terms of farm, but overall nothing big. So big win for Scythe in the early game. The question is, will they be able to turn it into anything meaningful towards this mid game? As ouch, Lycan takes some damage. And Phantom Assassin really doing work. If she were level 6, she might have had a kill there. As we do see a bit of an engagement, Disruptor going to get a nice nice glimpse off on the Shadow Demon, making sure he doesn't fall. And he does get away. He picked up the rune himself. So no big loss, other than the Lycan's going to continually have to bottle Crow. Lycan's starting to lose out on this lane due to the fact he just doesn't have the ability to go toe-to-toe with Phantom Assassin. The constant harass with that dagger is just way too strong, and he's having to bottle Crow pretty much every opportunity. And ow, he takes a ton of damage. Pops the ultimate just in time. Going to do some nice return damage. Gets a crit, but they just exchange crits and go back to farming.
Top tower is under attack.
Let's see, it is a bottle for Miracle in the mid lane. So it is going to be bottle versus bottle. No real harm done on either side. The Wolves have not gotten a whole lot done for the Lycans. Figure that would have been the big turning point. As we see Face come in the middle, has a bottle of his own, just going to heal up the Phantom Assassin and make sure things are nice and easy, as Titan have abandoned that aggressive tri-lane, and I don't blame them for it. They did a good bit of slowing Kunkka down, but not nearly to the level they needed to at this point. And overall, I'd say win for Scythe early on, but it's by no means a solid win or even a big win. They slowed Kunkka down a little bit, but they had their Razor slowed down even more. They got some decent levels out of it, but nah. And that's about how I feel about Titan's early game. Really thought they'd have an opportunity to do a whole lot more, but in this situation, they just aren't able to get anything really done. But it is going to be a big push. Pretty much everyone up top, as they just go for a nice easy tower. Timbersaw going to be in a bit of trouble. He does get tornted, but with a chakram, he's just fine. And they don't really want to engage on Timbersaw. He's probably the hardest hero to kill in the game at these early levels, especially considering Kunkka doesn't have a single point in the X. Surprised he hasn't put at least one in there. You get the 1 point, you just throw it as soon as Timbersaw does his Timber Chains, and you bring him right back. And that's a good setup as well. So this is just a little bit of an interesting build, considering the lineup. But I guess he did all this thinking, oh, hey, Razors are going to come back down here. But instead, Titan take the top tower, and it's going to be Kunkka in a lot of trouble. Nice last hit, as he was trying to bait it for Miracle, but Miracle not going to be there in time. And if he sees this, he can just easily Timber Change away or teleport. That's just fine as well. He did get one crit, but not enough, as the armor from that reactive armor way too strong and does a great deal of work up against the Phantom Assassin, especially if that's stacked early. 4 free armor, good luck piercing that early game. Nice use of the Torrent. And it's not going to amount to really anything as Lycan has the bottle, but still very worth it overall. Just get some nice harassment, bring Kunkka in the mid lane, and make sure that you can secure even more farm with the Phantom Assassin, who's pretty much the most farmed hero in the game at this point. And yeah, up good 300 gold on the Lycan. And it's only going to get worse from here. As she has not picked up anything significant. Likely going to be going for the standard Battle Fury. Surprised she didn't go Midas, but they're both good options. You either go Midas or Battle Fury. Figure this would be a nice Midas game. The attack speed's great. And it's just some extra levels that are much needed on a Phantom Assassin. Top lane might see a bit of engagement. As we have Chivix in there, no X, so it's going to be very hard for them to actually pick up a kill. Though Gush is available, but Rays are really hard to actually get on. He doesn't have any point in the unstable current, so no slow, no bonus movement speed. I guess they didn't know that he didn't have that. If they knew that there was no unstable current, they probably would have gone for that kill, because it's just a Gush into running in and looking pretty for a kill that way. But with the unstable current, it would have slowed Tidehunter down. They might have had to burn Ravage. So overall, they're just going to play very safe. As Scythe do have a even. It's pretty even. I thought they would have a slight lead to them farming just a bit better everywhere, but that tower really makes the golden experience pretty nil overall. Marco going to have a hard time in this bottom lane up against OHY, as they just don't have a good way to deal with this Timbersaw throughout most of the game, outside of just disrupting him or Xing him back, which both are not particularly effective other than stalling him. As Lycan decides to go in for Roshan, and this is the advantage of a dire Rosh. Enchantress has the medallion, so it should be pretty easy. Surprised they didn't try it a little bit earlier, as they had the opportunity. So Lycan gonna pop his ultimate, and this should be a very dead Kunkka if they choose to pursue. Shadow Demon not in the best of positions. There's the disruption as Timbersaw comes in, does some big damage, but Kunkka lives. He's just fine for the moment. And there's Razor coming in to seal the deal. Just losing Kunkka, and Roshan not terrible for Scythe, as Titan just won that fight based on having numbers and a bit of positioning. Really surprised that Scythe wanted to engage that far in, but I guess they figured it was just the Enchantress and Lycan. It's still really risky, especially when you have the Shadow Demon who can scout with his Shadow Poison. Figured they would just scout with that. That's the smartest play you can make in this situation. Just throw out a Shadow Poison, play it safe, only engage when you have your team. They had the Ravage, but Tidehunter was a mile away, and he's getting fairly close to that Blink Dagger, as it's going to be a very troubled Timbersaw, and easy kill. No chance to survive that. Ravage was burned, but I'd say worth it. Level 9 Timbersaw. Bunch of extra experience, and that means Wisp very close to level 6. Kunkka going to be checking it with a torrent and running deep. Not sure it's the wisest decision. There's the glimpse, and the kinetic field a little off the mark, so we might see Kunkka living. He throws down the torrent, big hit on the creeps, and that's it. End of engagement. Nice escape. They could have had if that kinetic field was on point, but it was just a little bit off. Disruptor not realizing the distance back. And that's one of those things that the high-level disruptors always know, is how far they've pulled someone, so you know the kinetic field timing. If you don't pull someone very far, kinetic field has to be cast quicker. If you pull them a long ways, you have a little bit more time to get the kinetic field down.
Is under attack.
And still no points in X for the Kunkka. I'm just really surprised that build. He could easily get glimpsed in, throw the X on himself, and then just bring someone back. If you only want to put 1 point in the X, you can do that pretty effectively and reliably. 2 points makes it a bit harder due to 4 seconds. Means you're going to be in there for at least a moment or two. But it's a great way to counter the Disruptor, and I expect to see a lot more of that from high-level teams. As Kunkka's one of those that people really like to pick up, but he's not picked up that often just due to the amount of lineups he fits in. As Disruptor has been very popular as of late, the Glimpse is doing a great job overall of controlling the team, and just the threat of Glimpse means you can't push in as much, you can't do a whole lot, and it's a really powerful tool. Titan have taken the second tower of the game with no real rebuttal. The mid tower is still decent health. It's not great. Bottom tower was taken earlier by Scythe, well, was denied from Scythe, as it was actually denied. And Tidehunter just pulling the wave. Not going to be any real engagements anytime soon. Still 2-2, as neither team off to a blazing lead at this point. They're playing it very safe, and I'm really surprised, especially this Razor build. No points in the ultimate at level 8. I'm really curious about how KYXY is playing this Razor. I'm not going to question the build. It just seems a little odd that you wouldn't put a single point in the ultimate or the unstable currents, but I guess he just really wants his other two abilities. And if they're just going to push, it's not a terrible thing. He's going to have the mech up in just a few moments. Timbersaw has an Ur. This should be a very free Roshan for Titan, and they're off to a good start. I don't see what Scythe can do at this point to really stop them, unless they start grouping up and actually fighting. Their team isn't built for fighting as much as Titan is for split pushing, but it's still, they have good team fight. They have decent initiation with Tidehunter. He's got Blink. Let's see that Blink Ravage. He's waiting for it, but smart play by Titan. And this is just going to be Tidehunter sitting around for a good while. I don't foresee him getting an opportunity to ravage more than one, possibly two, for a long time based on how Titan's playing this game. And they're playing it super, super safe. Kunkka gonna run. He's finally put that point in X marks the spot. So we'll see if he does try to initiate with it. It's a pretty good initiation tool at level 1. It's still only 1 second, but 1 second into a Shadow Demon or Phantom Assassin jumping in is all you really need to set up a fight. Phantom Assassin looks to be going Battle Fury first. And she's almost got everything she needs. Just a little bit more gold to actually pick it up. Not sure she's going to get the most out of it this game. As we're going to see a Wisp relocate. And it relocates in deep. Lycan going to be going far. Still has a few seconds left on his ultimate. But there's the Ravage spin. Hits 2. Oh no, hits 3. But beautiful Kinetic Field and Static Storm. Means that this is going to be a big win for Titan. Don't see any way they're going to lose this engagement. His Timbersaw just goes in, does some damage, and there's nothing Kunkka can do about it. Phantom Assassin does get one in the end, but she goes down for it. Not sure it's worth it to get the 1 kill on the Disruptor, and Kunkka does live just barely, as he did try and engage again with a nice Tidebringer. It's not enough. Good Torrent tries to slow this wave down, but there's no way to actually stop this. And this should be another easy tier 1 tower as the map constricts for Scythe. This is a big opportunity for Titan to just clear out the jungle. Get a nice word in, clear out these camps, make sure that Phantom Assassin has nothing to use her Battle Fury on. As nice as a Battle Fury is, it's only useful if you have control of the jungle. There's walking in, killing a wave of creeps, and running to the jungle when there's no jungle is not particularly effective, and that's the whole reason that carries like Anti-Mage and Faceless Void pick up Battle Furies. They can just jungle and rely on their team to control the rest of the game. But so far, that's not been the choice here, as Scythe has had very little control over anything. And Razor, without any reason to be focused, as he has the Aegis, he's incredibly tanky. Phantom Assassin comes in, but no real use. And that's going to be Kunkka taken out for pretty much free off the backs of a nice glimpse. No Ravage, as it was still on cooldown, and Wisp falls. Scythe just throwing away lives. Really kind of confused about why Scythe would even be near that tower at that point. You don't have Ravage. Phantom Assassin's very close to that Battle Fury, and it's going to be Titan just storming down the mid lane, saying we're going to win this engagement. And they still have a chance on the side of Scythe. They've got the Phantom Assassin Battle Fury, but they just lost an entire lane of towers for nothing. They got 1 kill on the Disruptor. I mean, any team in this world would trade their Disruptor for 3 towers, especially a tier 3 tower. And this also means a huge amount of map control on the side of Titan. I expect them to place a lot of wards. They have 1 deep observer ward. I expect to see at least 2 more in this bottom side jungle. and then just go for an easy pick off on Phantom Assassin. You have the Disruptor. She's not going to have a defensive item anytime soon. She just completed the Battle Fury. Ancients are not stacked particularly well, as they were partially taken in that last engagement, as Titan managed to pick up a few of them. And this is where the Phantom Assassin pick is kind of questionable. If you don't get off to a good start or don't have a lot of space creators, she doesn't do a whole lot, especially with the Battle Fury build. She takes so long to come online, it's pretty ridiculous. And this should be the last set of outer towers for Titan, as they should easily be able to walk in, take this bottom one. I don't see any way to really contest it. They can bring the Phantom Assassin in, but what does that really accomplish? Lycan's got BKB. They can see it right now. He's got the ultimate, making him pretty much invincible. And it's just going to be Shadow even throwing a poison shot or two out. Just try and slow things down. Up top, 1-for-1 trade. But here's Lycan going to do some good damage. Will he be able to take down the Wisp? No, he does not, as he does get away. Phantom Assassin duking it out, but here comes Disruptor, and nice crit as Lycan pops the BKB, not in time. Wisp's going to come back for the movement speed. Should be another pretty easy kill, and that is a Disruptor going down, maybe, or not in time. Nice jukes. He will eventually go down or not. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all you need to say there. Just, yeah. Oh, good plays. Good plays. That was some beautiful jukes by Net, and that was just a beautiful engagement overall. Scythe still come out ahead overall as they pick up one tower for one tower. They get a kill on the Lycan. Lycan burned a BKB for it, I believe. Yeah, he burned his charges. I heard the sound but didn't see it actually go off. So he was killed right as he picked it up. And there's a double damage for Phantom Assassin. Ouch! Big crit, but Timbersaw even more damage as Lycan is there as well. Does some good damage. Ravage is there. Catches Lycan on the edge, but it's going to be just enough as Timbersaw does rotate back in, but doesn't hit anyone with a Trockum. He picks up the Haste Rune, but ouch! Wisp goes down fast. And without the Ravage, this is going to be a very difficult engagement for Scythe to take, as Miracle in a lot of trouble. And that is going to be a dead Phantom Assassin unless she gets a good blink away, and that she does. Still 8 seconds left on the Disrupt. They decided not to focus her down. They went for a little bit more damage on the Tidehunter. Overall, it's going to be Kunkka in a lot of troubles. We just have not seen anything from him this game, and he gets chopped down by the Timbersaw. And it's a good engagement for Titan yet again. Scores 5-10, but Titan have a huge lead, 10,000 gold. Not very much in terms of experience, but 10,000 gold is a whole lot, especially in the hands of Lycan and the Razor, who is not doing particularly well early. He's going to have Zaghanim's up at a reasonable time. Question is it coming out right now? It is coming out right now. Goodbye base for Scythe, and this should not last too much longer, as Titan really just want to barrel down and take these towers. Scythe have the opportunity to make a comeback, though. BKB's up on the Phantom Assassin, and she's getting fairly good farm overall. X gonna come in, gonna be Razor in a bit of trouble as he takes a bunch of damage. And that's no mech. Oh no, he does not get the mech. He popped it in the wrong order, and that's Enchantress going down. Phantom Assassin doing work. And it's gonna be Wisp relocating around. As the chase begins, will they pick up the Timbersaw? No, as the Timbersaw picks up one. And we just see the Phantom Assassin doing Phantom Assassin things like critting creep waves. Lycan was not in that engagement, but overall, pretty big win for Scythe. They needed that gold. And the gold was placed in decent hands as the Kunkka picked one up. Io picked it up, a kill as well, which definitely helps him out. And that means he's going to be able to actually pick up an item or two. Gold is very useful on the Wisp, especially if you can pick up a few regeneration items. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if either he or Tidehunter went pipe this game. The extra regeneration on Wisp is really nice. Pick the pipe up, give a nice buff to your team. It really does wonders up against the Disruptor. Razor has a decent amount of magic damage. Same thing with Timbersaw. It would really slow down this push if Whisk could at least pick up a portion or two of the pipe. He's far away from it. I don't expect him to pick it up as he's gone for the Pub Bracer Gauntlet of Strength super build where he picks up as many Gauntlets of Strength as he can, as he's got a few in the Armor Shadows as well. It's a nice build to keep alive, but I just love to see some regeneration on him so that they can do a bit more harassment. Roshan taken out pretty easily. There's no contest for it. I didn't think Scythe was going to have any opportunity to want to fight that. They did have Ravage, they did have their mech up, but not the best in terms of actual fighting at this point in time. They need that next item on Kunkka. They need the next item on Phantom Assassin before they can really try and make a big comeback. They have the tools to stall now, but to actually win, they need that next level of items. He's got the Shadow Blade. He's got drums on Kunkka. I haven't really felt his impact outside of that last engagement. He did a great job of setting that up, making sure the Razor didn't get the mech off, which was a bit of a mistake, but it's still going to be tower dead. No chance this tower lives, and all outer towers have been taken. The question is there going to be a trade? Not really. Decent damage from the Phantom Assassin up here, but I don't foresee them doing a whole lot. As Razor comes in, just chunks the tower down. Tidehunter in a lot of trouble as he takes a good bit of damage, but already pops the magic stick. Razor is low, but does not have his ultimate, as he's already up and going to be running out of time. And I call that a win for Scythe. Trade 1-for-1 in terms of towers, and more time for the Phantom Assassin. At this point, she really just needs damage. I don't think survivability is going to be too critical this game. Basher would be a decent choice. I'm not sold on it at this point. I'd like to just see more damage. Just for her to be able to jump in, pop someone, and then back away would be really valuable at this point. Basher, the CC is nice, but I don't think it's anything too critical. As Lycan just pops his ultimate and runs away. Glimpse is there, and a little bit off the mark, but should be an easy kill on the Wisp anyways. But 1-for-1 trade is Phantom Assassin doing work. BKB popped by the Phantom Assassin, and ouch, the Lycan goes down. Phantom Assassin in great shape. She wants to blink forward, but no vision, and the Wolves do a nice job of slowing her down. Pretty big win, but here comes Mr. Timbersaw, and it should be an easy escape for the Phantom Assassin as she just teleports away. And with a lack of crowd control on the side of Titan, teleport scrolls are very valuable, as you can easily just jump away at any point in time and not have to worry about a whole lot. Kunkka doing some good split pushing up top. He's going to be in a bit of trouble, but nothing too particularly big. Nice use of the Sentry Ward, but he's immediately away. They do see him, and it's going to be Phantom Assassin coming in for the Wisp. And ouchie, that Disruptor died fast. But here's Razor doing the big things and stealing so much damage from Phantom Assassin. Can't kill the Enchantress when she has literally 0 damage. She has none. And that's Razor picking up a big killing spree. Kunkka goes down. And this could be more as Timbersaw going full mobility mode, but does not see the Shadow Demon in a good spot. Love this full mobility build by Timbersaw. He's pretty far ahead. He's got the mana regen from the Bloodstone and they're in the shadows, but he can just jump in, land a big combo on someone, then use the Timber Chains for damage instead of mobility. That's a big reason why the Blink Dagger is such a good item on Timbersaw, as Timber Chains are a ton of damage. 4-second cooldown for 220 damage nuke. That is ridiculous. The big thing, though, is it actually has to land on a tree, which is where the Blink Dagger comes in. You blink, you throw your combo, you go back in. One set of racks taken on the side of Titan. Phantom Assassin will be respawning, so they have to respect her. They didn't respect her in that last engagement, and she picked up a good bit in terms of gold. Enough for the Helm of the Dominator and the Basher. She's sold out for the Basher, though. No buyback. Razor going to go down. Doing a good job of staying alive for now, but didn't get off the static link. He's got the Aegis, so it's going to be okay, but here comes the boat. Boat is on the money. Torrent there. Easy kill. As KYXY not in the best of spots. Got a little greedy with the teleport. A lot of pro players do that, where they just teleport a little too close and get picked off every now and then. In the long run, it's probably the right decision, but 1 in 20, 1 in 30 times they get caught out. It makes them look a little bit silly for teleporting that close to the enemy's base. Phantom Assassin still farming well, has gotten good damage, but as we saw in that last engagement, unless she gets a kill or two early, and then especially on the Razor, he will sap all of her damage. She had none in that last fight, and there's no real good way to break the static link at this point. The best way is probably just blink striking you away or kind of to the side to make sure that the Razor doesn't get a full static link off on you. But outside of that, it's a hard life for a Phantom Assassin. She's still top in terms of last hits, pretty high in net worth as she is the lead farmer. The problem is everyone else, the next three, is Titan, and they're just farming better on everyone. Kunkka doesn't... We haven't felt the Kunkka's impact. He's gotten a little bit of crit in the Chrysalis now, so we might see a bit of damage coming out from him, but nothing I'd fear at this point if I were Titan. They're just too tanky. Lycan's pretty tanky, and he's going to have the MKB up and negating that massive evasion from the Phantom Assassin. And this is where Titan are going to have to take one more set of racks before I think they feel comfortable. They feel good at this point. You've taken one set of racks. You've done some decent damage to the top tier 3. And you've kept the Phantom Assassin in check. They haven't shut her down, but she's not been off to an amazing start. Though for 30 minutes, this is not terrible, especially because she's going to have her next item pretty soon. And once she picks up the full Basher and that Abyssal Blade, she's going to be in great shape. It's a lot of extra damage. It's exactly what she needs to shut down the Lycan as soon as he pops BKB. And that's going to be where Scythe had the opportunity to really make something happen once she picks up that item, if she gets it in time. As I don't think Titan are going to make this game last any longer than they need to. Probably another 5 to 10 minutes is their comfort zone. Then they have to start worrying about just being jumped on and blown to bits. As we've already seen, big crits. Phantom Assassin level 18. And it's really the hard point in the game for Titans. They have to make another push. One big push. It's going to be around Roshan, as Roshan should be respawning fairly soon. No, they still going to be about another 3 minutes if this is accurate. So it's going to be a fairly long respawn. And it's going to be Kunkka caught out as Timbersaw with a haste rune does Timbersaw things and just annihilates everyone. But Shadow Demon is there. And it's going to be Kunkka still in a bit of trouble, but there's everything blown by the Shadow Demon. And this is a good time to go. Shadow Demon's burned his ultimate, which is a great way to shut someone down. Kunkka's low, so he's going to have to heal back up for a few seconds. I would use this opportunity for more map control if I were Titan, but instead they're going to play it very safe. Just push out all the lanes and let Phantom Assassin get that next item. They're really focused on making sure they get Roche. And yeah, still a good bit of time left on Roche as Phantom Assassin's here. They're not going to go on him. Thought they might try a combo, but instead they're going to play it very safe. Wisp has done the smart thing, picked up the Ghost Scepter. Ghost Scepter really valuable this game to make sure Lycan just doesn't jump in and blow him to bits. Downside though, Timbersaw still wrecks the Wisp. Wisp is a strength hero, so he loses even more whenever he gets hit with that Whirling Death, as Whirling Death from Timbersaw does reduce your primary attribute by a little bit. It basically just rips Io a new one in these engagements. Let's see how Ray's progressing, as he does have the Heaven's Halberd, and that's going to be very useful once Phantom Assassin's BKB gets really low. It's 8 seconds now, which is still a pretty good duration. It's not amazing by any stretch, but it's good enough that I wouldn't feel bad about using, just kind of popping it, then going in, instead of just going in, then having to pop it once it gets down to those lower 5-4 second durations. Lycan's BKB at 8 as well, so we can pop it, then go in. And should be just fine. Timbersaw going to have his Shivas up pretty soon if he wants it. And I don't think he's going to save for buyback. With 13 Bloodstone charges, his respawn is near instant at this point. And I wouldn't be too worried about him being dead for too long. He's got Boots of Travel already as well. Roshan's still almost a minute off, which is really big. As they're going to sit here on the side Titan and just wait for it. This gives us a quick opportunity to look at the graphs. Is Scythe making the comeback? Already cut about 4,000 gold with that lead. Experience is nil. 2,000 is nothing at this point. That's maybe one level spread across the team. So it's pretty much nothing. The question is going to be, where is this engagement going to happen? All the Scythe are grouped up. They don't want this next Roshan to go tight. It does have cheese on it. And that's going to be a big for a high ground push. Both teams playing it very safe. And it's going to be Satanic up for Phantom Assassin instead of the stun. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of this order, but I like the item in general. It gives her a lot of extra damage in terms of just staying alive in these engagements. She can't be bursted down as the extra health is huge. The lifesteal is huge as well. One good crit with that on means she's going to be back at full health. So she's basically playing for a tanky Titan team. She's not expecting to need the burst damage. She's expecting Titan to just tank up from this point. And that's kind of what they're doing. They're not tanking up fully. As Razor has gone kind of hybrid item with the Heaven's Halberd. It's a bit of tank, a bit of damage. Same thing with Timbersaw. He's not fully tanking up. He's gone for Shivas. It's got armor. It's got a bit of damage. Same thing with Lycan. He's not fully tanking up. He's going Assault Cross, so attack speed, armor reduction. It's not. They're not going hearts. They're not going other items like that that are just pure tank. They're going all these items that provide a little bit of tankiness, but also a lot of offensive stats, which is exactly what they need. And they're going to get a free Roshan. Disruptor going to be showing himself in the mid lane just to try and dissuade things. As Phantom Assassin does jump in and just cleans out the wave real quick. This is exactly what Titan want to do. They want to take this free Roshan. This would have been an excellent spot for Scythe to fight between Battle Fury and the newly picked up Daedalus. Kunkka has the ability to get a really nice cleave off. It's just the question of, will we actually get one off? Or will the RNG gods favor Titan? Scythe's lineup is incredibly RNG heavy, with both the Phantom Assassin and Kunkka being pretty RNG monsters at this point, needing those crits to come out. And we'll actually see what Titan decide to do with this Aegis and Cheese. They got the Aegis on the Lycan, they got Cheese on the Razors. Razor has more health. Always want to put the Cheese on the person with more health, as it provides a lot of extra health. And Razor pops the ultimate. Kunkka gonna get his combo off. But nice Force Staff on the Razor prevents the boat from landing. That would have been a huge source of damage. But Cheese is popped. And Razor's still staying alive. No real damage traded other than they lost the Cheese. So this is going to be Timbersaw going in doing some huge damage. But ouch, does he get crit. And that was almost just a delayed death. As Kunkka just blows everyone up with that crit. And big win for Scythe as they go 2 for 3. The big two did not fall as the Razor and Lycan stayed alive, but Timbersaw fell. He's already back up with his Bloodstone as he had a ridiculous amount of charges, but high ground held. Tower went down to half, but it's alive. And this is looking fairly grim for Titan, as that was their time. And now this becomes Phantom Assassin time. Same thing with Kunkka. This is Kunkka time. As I'd almost say Battle Fury at this point, just for a little bit of extra farm. Possibly just into another Daedalus. Another Daedalus would not be a terrible option. Just go more damage, more crit, more fun. As he's one of the best crit users in the game. His Tidebringer is just stupidly powerful if you get enough damage on it. almost say go rapier on him, but that's a little risky at this point. He's not tanky enough to do a whole lot in the actual engagement. If he gets picked off, losing a rapier would be pretty devastating. Phantom Assassin almost up to her Abyssal Blade. Just needs buyback at this point. So a little over 1,000 gold required to actually get her to that point, which is not that hard at this point. Two good crits and she's halfway there. And Titan have to be worried. This has got to be the good game push at this point. They don't have long. They're going to be able to catch out at least one. Tidehunter is there. They spot him out. And without Ravage, this is going to be very difficult. Checking buybacks. No chance for Tidehunter. 60 seconds. No Ravage. No Tidehunter buyback. Titan have got to go. They have the Razor all burning, but it's not going to be too effective. So Lycan ults also burn, so I guess they're going to wait out their ultimates. So they'll be back up about the time Tidehunter comes up. Few second window where Tidehunter won't be back. And this is exactly what you have to do. They found their opening. No Ravage means no big team fight for Scythe, unless Phantom Assassin or Kunkka get lucky. And they have to start praying to some RNG gods if they want to keep this game going for too much longer.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
As we see him go in, Lycan could be doing a good bit of damage to tower. Same thing with Razor. Howl is popped. Nice use of Torrent to stall it out. Fortify is here. 5 seconds left on the Tidehunter. And he'll be back up in just a few moments. Tower taken. Lycan does have the Aegis. Refresh or purchase on Tidehunter, so double Ravage in this next engagement. But nice use of the Shiva as Kunkka can't even get a good cleave off. Phantom Assassin's been trading, but the big question is she going to be back there in time? She picked up her Abyssal Blade and does have buyback. Big Ravage, but it's not super effective just yet, as they've only gotten the Razor. But just Razor, not worth it unless they get someone else. Timbersaw going to be crit to death, and that's 2. Everyone else going to be able to get out just fine. Not really worth it for Titan. Not a terrible engagement as they got the tier 3 tower, but not good, as they have to deal with double Ravage. And only one Ravage was used, though. So if they decide to go in again, Ravage will be up. Big problem is, there we go. Now Tidehunter has enough for the full double Ravage. He was going to use that last fight, but without Arcane Boots, he basically doesn't have any mana. And now he's in a good spot to just dominate with that Ravage. And Scythe in a good opportunity to win here. Take a quick look at the graphs as they're about to engage. And it is not going to be much of a fight. They really want to wait for Razor. They need a good static link. He's not found one in these last engagements. He's not been able to get the Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin jumps in and youch. Just youch. That's all I can say to that. Jim lost. Just Tidehunter picks it up. Phantom Assassin jumping in, and wow, does she do some damage. Lycan going to continue to run in, but Tidehunter Ravage is big. But isn't big enough, and it looks like they are going to not take the Razor down. Phantom Assassin gone. Everyone from Scythe falling, and that's a full 5 for 1. As Enchantress was the only casualty. Razor too tanky, too much evasion, and now he has a BKB. This is troublesome for Scythe. They should lose the racks here. They don't have enough buybacks. Unless Titan wants to just go for game. It would not surprise me if they just go for game at this point. Just go straight in. Go for the throne. Take the game. Braxes are fairly meaningless at this point. And there's still 50 seconds on anyone particularly useful. Phantom Assassin doesn't want to buy back, but could at any point. Kunkka does not have buyback. He's still 19 seconds. And they're going to play it safe on side Titan. Go for both of the racks. As Titan just wanting to play it safe. Engagement not going to occur. Titan going to back up. They took bottom set of racks. Still, Scythe are not out of this game just yet. They're in trouble. They're in deep trouble. But it's not over. as they've done an excellent job so far of playing base defense. They haven't been able to go aggressive just yet, but base defense has been absolutely superb for Scythe. And if they can continue to base defend until Phantom Assassin picks up, MKB would have to be the next choice at this point. I don't see another way to really get enough damage from anything else outside of a rapier, but I'm always a fan of rapiers in games like this. I think it's going to have to be MKB, though, just to deal with the Razor's evasion. It wouldn't surprise me if Lycan picked one up at this point. He's already got the evasion from the Talisman. Phantom Assassin has to pick it up, and she's not going to have it up anytime soon. Kunkka does not have much damage this game. He's got a BKB now. Don't think it's going to be too particularly useful, as there's not a whole lot of crowd control on Titan. There's a good bit of damage, and there's the Scythe of Ice picked up by Timbersaw. That could be the item that ends this game, as he's been on point all game of jumping in, getting off a nice combo, and forcing Scythe to react to him instead of anyone else on his team. Scythe are going to smoke. It was not spotted out. This ward does not see that area. And they're just going to go for it. Trying to find someone in the enemy jungle, but in about 3 to 5 seconds, as soon as no one's in the base, Scythe are going to have to run back really quick. As Titan have to know something's up at this point. And not seeing anyone with his bottom observer ward. Literally attacking based buildings. They know something's up, especially when they saw the teleport and not seeing anyone come in. They know there's a smoke there. They saw the teleport. I don't know if they saw anything else, but they saw the teleport. Kunkka gonna try for something, but no luck, as he does get a decent stun off. Lycan pops the BKB and the ultimate, doing some good damage. I want a bit of trouble, but so far, no real casualties. Ravage number 2 is here. And no opportunity to use it. Glimpse is there, nothing. Only one low is Wisp. Tidehunter brings forward, but still no Ravage opportunities. And Titan have to say, back up. We got Roshan. And they should be able to take Roshan if a fight breaks out near it. Wisp is a little too low. Shadow Demon's too low. And Miracle's gonna be in a bit of trouble. Ravage is there, but it's not enough. Phantom Assassin's down for 3 minutes without buyback. A minute and a half before she actually comes back. And that should be game. Kunkka in a bit of trouble. Does not have boat. Pops the Shadow Blade, but no chance to survive. Tidehunter in a bit of trouble, and he's just gonna stall. But still, GG called. Scythe had their chance, but Titan just won a little too hard in that middle engagement, and there was nothing that Scythe could do at that point. They just made 1 or 2 mistakes. Phantom Assassin was close to carrying it, but with 1 or 2 big, critical, absolutely unstoppable mistakes, Scythe fall. And they were in such a good position with that Phantom Assassin. She was the top farmer by a while. It's just Kunkka never got going. We never really felt the Kunkka. Tidehunter had a few decent ravages. Shadow Demon had a few nice plays. We didn't feel Wisp and his relocates that much. While Titan, everybody felt fairly important outside the Enchantress, as she did her part early on, but long run, I didn't feel her impact. Welcome everyone to the Keys of the Game, where we watch some of the highlights and big turning points in the game we just watched. The first key to the game comes in as Lycan's almost caught out in this mid lane. He takes a bunch of damage. There's a nice Ravage that hits 3, but there's an even better Kinetic Field Static Storm combo. It just rips through the Tidehunter and Wisp. Lycan escapes with very little health, and Timbersaw manages to chase down Kunkka. On the back end, Phantom Assassin takes forever to kill the Disruptor and falls, making it a 3-for-1. And this is a critical fight because it slows down the Phantom Assassin a ton and gives a bunch of extra momentum to Titan, as they're able to get a very nice push off of it. The next key to the game comes in right after the first. As Titan have pushed down 1 tower, they're going for the 2nd tower, being a bit greedy. But this is where it really gets interesting. Is Scythe just decided to roll in and take a team fight. They just lost 1 and their big ultimates are down. They decide to engage. with Kunkka, and they do a decent amount of damage, but he's just a little bit off on killing the Enchantress and takes a lot of damage. He gets glimpsed back in and quickly taken out after that. Phantom Assassin can't do anything. Io was taken out on the side. Tidehunter blinks in, but for no real reason. And there go 3 more kills headed Titan's way. For in the last 2 minutes, they've had a 7-1 swing in their favor. They're able to take down 2 towers, and eventually they'll take down a 3rd tower, as there's nothing a Phantom Assassin Shadow Demon can do. So in the span of about 3 minutes total, probably less than that, they took down 3 towers, picked up 7 kills to 1 death, and just made an absolutely dominant performance, which is the biggest key in this game. The next key to the game comes in right as we see Phantom Assassin jumping in on the Lycan. She rips him apart at the beginning, cutting down most of his health. Lycan's going to re-engage, thinking he's significantly powerful, but quickly realizes Phantom Assassin's pretty strong herself. Lycan takes off 1 kill, the Phantom Assassin picks off the Disruptor, so both sports go down. But 1 good crit means Lycan has to run for it. 2nd big crit, and Lycan goes down. Phantom Assassin's going to get turned on as the Wolves do a nice job of blocking her in. Timbersaw comes forward, and she's able to just jump away with a teleport. And this makes it a very nice escape. And that is incredibly important. That gives a huge amount of gold to the Phantom Assassin, and it brings a huge amount of fear into Titan, as they can't just engage willy-nilly. The next key to the game comes in as Kunkka is off-split pushing. He's doing a great job as Phantom Assassin was having a duel down bottom of getting this top tower fairly low. He also does a nice job of just evading the wards. Phantom Assassin comes in and rips the Disruptor apart. The problem is, there's not enough support for your own. Io has ripped a new one as Razor comes in and drains all the Phantom Assassin's damage. You can't kill Enchantress without your BKB on Phantom Assassin. And with basically 0 damage, this becomes a terrible engagement for Scythe just to pick up the Disruptor, and this leads to Titan picking up their very first set of racks. The final key to the game comes when, right as Scythe have won a team fight in the bottom lane and they're starting off their push. Phantom Assassin does a great job of just jumping in and mutilating the Enchantress. Timbersaw does a good job of stopping the Blink Ravage, but it's not enough as the Disruptor gets shredded as well. Tidehunter eventually gets off a decent Ravage, but it's not enough as it only hits 1, and Razor is too tanky. Disruptor does a great job of keeping the Phantom Assassin pinned in. And the big thing here is the Phantom Assassin does have buyback, but very few others do. It's just a Phantom Assassin, and that's a 5-for-1 or 5-for-2 with 1 buyback on the Disruptor. And that's the real big thing here, is this was an incredibly important fight, and Titan will be able to take multiple racks from this, as they already have the Timbersaw working on it. And it's just an overall incredibly good fight as they go on to win the game off of it. Thank you for watching this Gamecast by Pander. If you wish to see more, please check out my YouTube and Twitch links below. Thank you again for watching.